we go. Man.
Good morning. This is cause number 2021-07843 in the interest of Sienna Williams. All parties and witnesses, please raise your right hands to be sworn and unmute yourself. Thank you. Where's Mr. Williams? Mr. Williams is frozen here.
Oh, he is frozen. Mm. Maybe I can send a message.
Put your hand down, Ms. Murphy. We're waiting for, see if we can't have Mr. Williams. What is, re-enter or whatever he needs to do there.
Okay, maybe it might be working now. Cut off his video.
Mr. Williams, can you hear me? If you can, please unmute yourself.
Maria, if I send you a number for him, you think you can call him?
Yeah, and let Maria know when y'all are set up again, okay?
Okay.
Want to stay on?
Yes, stay on. We're just going to try to get him on by phone. It was working in the other Zoom. I don't know what's going on here.
Okay.
I think he's reconnected, Maria. Mr. Williams, unmute yourself for us.
Okay.
Okay, it's working now, Maria.
Okay, Ms. Murphy, unmute yourself, please. This is cause number 2021-07843 in the interest of Sienna Williams. All parties and witnesses, please raise your right hands to be sworn. Do you solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
I do.
All right, ma'am. Ma'am, please state your name and your relationship to the child.
My name is Alyssa Murphy. I'm her mother.
Sir, your name and your relationship to the child.
Siddhartha Williams, and I'm the father.
And representing the state.
Marcella Turner.
All right, we got an original petition in a suit affecting the parent-child relationship. We're having a hearing. Do we have any stipulations?
We do, Your Honor.
All right,
The parties have stipulated to a monthly child support amount in the amount of $216, a cash medical support amount monthly in the amount of $57, a retroactive child support judgment in the amount of $1,824 to be paid off at a rate of $60 a month. All of those to begin on August 1st of 2021. The parties have also agreed to a geographical restriction regarding the child's primary residence. Those are that's the conclusion of the stipulations, Your Honor.
Mr. Williams, so far, are those your agreements?
Yes, sir.
And Ms. Murphy, so far, those are your agreements?
Yes.
All right, so what are the issues? Ms. Turner?
The non-disclosure is an issue, conservatorship and possession and access.
All right, let's proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. At this time, the state would like to call Ms. Murphy. Ms. Murphy, does Mr. Williams currently know where you reside?
No, ma'am.
And have there been any family violence issues to occur between yourself and Mr. Williams within the last years?
Not physical, but verbally, yes.
And so when you say verbally, could you elaborate a little bit more as to what you mean by that?
As in, like, you're stating that you want to drag me up down the stairs about my hair. You're going to get somebody else to beat me up, take my child.
Okay, so when you say you, you're not referring to me, correct? Because you said you. I just want you to clarify for the record who you're referring to when you're saying that these statements have been made.
To me. They've been made to me.
No. Who made the statements?
Oh, Sardorto.
Okay. And why doesn't Mr. Williams currently know where you live?
Because I'm afraid for my safety and my child.
And prior to you living at the address that you're currently at, were you living somewhere else where Mr. Williams knew where you lived?
Yes.
And what was the reason for the move?
Because you just popping up over there, beating on my door. You just don't pop up at my house and you beating on my door. So I feel for my safety. I have 2 other kids also. That's not the only child I have. So I have to think about all my kids and you just popping at my house. You don't have a right to just come pop up at my house. And then you're popping up at my family house also because you're trying to find me.
All right, Miss. Okay, and Miss Murphy, just going forward, you're just answering my questions. You're not making any statements directly to Mr. Williams. So if you're referring to things Mr. Williams has done, please state him by name as opposed to saying you. Okay. Are we good? Thank you. All right. So how old is the child before the court today?
She is 10 months.
And who has she lived with since her date of birth?
Me.
And has Mr. Williams been involved in making decisions regarding your child?
No.
And has he ever attempted to play a more active role in parenting as it relates to this child?
No.
And who takes care of the day-to-day regarding the child?
I do.
And has Mr. Williams ever contacted you just to inquire as to your child's general welfare?
No.
And do you believe that you and Mr. Williams should share equally in decision-making rights as it relates to this child?
No, ma'am.
And why is that?
Because I've been taking care of her by myself. I've been doing it alone.
And outside of this, outside of you taking care of her by yourself, is there any reason as to why you feel Mr. Williams is incapable of making decisions regarding this child?
He's not stable to me in my eyes. Mr. Williams is not stable.
And when you say he's not stable, what do you mean by he's
As in
not
having
stable?
his own, like, you don't even have a job, your own place, and none of that car, none of that. How are you going to take care of somebody? You can't even take care of yourself.
Okay. And when's the last time Mr. Williams saw the child?
I want to say December when the cops got called.
And I'm sorry, you said December, was that December of last year, 2020?
Yes, ma'am. Mm-hmm.
Okay. And how often had he seen the child prior to December of 2020?
Neither. No days after that.
And so what type of visitation are you asking this court for today?
Supervised.
And why is that?
I think it's in the best interest of her.
Okay. And are you asking for this supervised visitation to take place until she's 18 years of age, or she
Yes,
graduates?
Yes, ma'am, all the way.
Okay. No further questions for this witness. I'll pass the.
Mr. Williams, do you have any questions for Ms. Murphy?
No, sir.
All right. Call your next witness, Ms. Turner.
At this time, the state would like to call Mr. Williams. Mr. Williams, have there ever been any family violence issues to take place between yourself and Ms. Murphy?
No, ma'am.
And so this incident that Ms. Murphy has testified took place in December of 2020 when the police were called. Are you stating that that did not take place, or were the police called in December of 2020?
They was called, but it wasn't for domestic violence reason. It was called just to remove me from the house.
Okay, so when you say remove you from the house, are you referring to Ms. Murphy's house?
Yes, ma'am.
Were you guys living together?
Yes, ma'am. We stayed together for a whole year.
Okay, and so what led up to them coming to remove you from the home?
She was gone for 24 hours with my daughter. Would not calling or answering or texting back. So when she came home, I was upset. So I asked her for the keys nicely. And then I got loud with her. She gave me the keys and I left. Came back. I was probably in the house no more than 30 minutes. And then all of a sudden there was a knock at the door and the police was there.
Okay, and have you ever threatened to do harm to Ms. Murphy or child?
No, ma'am.
And are you asking this court to name both you and Ms. Murphy as joint managing conservators, where you'll have this, equal rights?
Yes, ma'am.
Is there any reason that you feel that the court should not name the joint managing conservator?
No, ma'am.
And have you ever called, since you and Ms. Murphy stopped living together, have you ever contacted her just to inquire as to the child's general welfare? Do you typically do that?
Yes, ma'am. I was calling and texting. I was messaging on Facebook, but she blocked me on her cell phone number. She blocked me on Facebook. I even tried to get my mama to call so she can check on her granddaughter. She don't never answer the phone for my mother. The one time I did go knock on her door, I didn't bang on her door. I actually knocked on her door. Nobody came to the door. And she texted me right after I pulled off and was like, don't pop up to my house.
Okay.
And I also sent
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I also sent Baytown police to her apartment to do a welfare check, and I never heard back from them.
And when was that?
That was in March around my birthday, so like the 22nd, somewhere around there.
The 22nd of March of this year or last year?
This year.
Okay. And how often have you seen the child since you all stopped living together?
I haven't seen my daughter since the first week in January of this year.
Okay, and when you typically saw the child, was Miss present or did you have the child by yourself?
Well, she brought her to come see me because I wanted to talk to her and come up with an agreement before we even had to do child support of anything. So I tried to sit down and have a decent conversation with her. So she brought her. It was her, my daughter, and I think it's a cousin or best friend or whoever it is. They both came. They all three of them came to the house, and we sat there and talked.
How long did you sit there to talk?
We sat there and talked for maybe an hour.
Okay, and when was this again?
At the beginning of January.
Okay, and nothing has transpired to your recollection between yourself and Miss Murphy involving physical violence since at any point, essentially. Is that your testimony?
At no point in our relationship have I ever put my hands on her physically.
Have you ever threatened her, or
no, ma'am?
Have you ever threatened to have your sisters or family members or whoever,
No, ma'am.
Okay. And you asked, or you initially proposed before this hearing, you were in agreement with doing a modified possession and access schedule and then a standard possession and access schedule. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. No further questions for this witness. I'll pass the witness.
Ms. Murphy, do you have any questions for Mr. Williams?
Yes. So you say you sent the police to my house and you say you didn't beat on my door, but I have a witness.
Well, wait. Do you have a question for him?
Why did you beat on why are you saying that you did not beat on my door? When I have a witness.
I didn't.
Yes, I have a witness saw you.
Okay, ma'am. It's just question time. I'm going to allow you to say something later on, but right now, you just have whatever questions you may have for him.
Why did you send the police for a welfare check?
Because you wasn't answering your phone, and I have a right to know how my daughter is doing, no matter what.
Because the police said that you haven't talked to me in a month and a half, and I had talked to you 2 days prior.
You actually,
Your Honor, that's hearsay. She's testifying to what someone else told her.
Sustained. Ask another question, ma'am.
I don't have any more questions.
Okay, Ms. Turner.
Your Honor, I do have a few more questions for Ms. Murphy, so I would like to recall her.
All right.
Ms. Murphy, is it true, based off of what Mr. Williams just testified, that you brought the child to his home back in January of this year?
Yeah, he saw that time.
Okay, so where were your safety concerns then when you voluntarily brought the child to his home on his territory?
Well, he kept pushing it. It was pushing it. It was like, you need to come bring her now. It was like,
but you also just testified that he didn't even know where you live. So even if he did push the issue, he couldn't
show. He didn't know where I live at that time.
Where you live?
I was still at the same residence. I did not move yet.
Okay, so regardless of whether or not he did or did not know where you live, he simply stated that you needed to bring the child. So why were you not concerned for your safety at that time if you're stating that safety concerns always were an issue?
I didn't want to, but it was getting pushed on me.
How was he pushing you?
He kept messaging me and texting me and calling me. And if I did not answer, it kept going bad, worse and worse. And then you want to talk it out. And then you
don't have the ability to block his number?
Yeah, I do. And then you have other ways. But when I went, it wasn't a civil conversation. You was aggressive. I have a witness to that also. You was aggressive and talking to me crazy. And you was talking about, I don't have to give her back right now either. I don't have to give her back. He was trying to keep it right then and there. So that just showed that no, I have to go. And yes, I did move.
You guys were living together when the baby was born, correct?
Yes.
Do you remember when you started living together? Were you living together before the child was born?
Yes.
Okay, so do you remember when that was? Like, can you estimate the date and year that you started living together?
Probably 2019, but I don't know the months to be exact, to be honest.
How old was the child when you stopped living together?
3 months?
And so during those 3 months that you all lived together, was Mr. Williams helping you take care of the child then?
By watching her while I went to work.
So you were okay with Mr. Williams watching the child while you were at work, but fast forward a couple of months later, you're no longer, I guess 7 months later, you no longer believe he's capable of taking care of the child? Is that your testimony?
No, because during that time, it wasn't no issues. It was no issues until the cop got called. And then that's when all the other stuff fell into play. All the disrespect, the threats, all that fell into play after you got booted out the door. You didn't do that while you was there. It was after you left, then you showed a whole different side.
And you guys just recently broke up not too long ago, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, when was that? Was that also when you stopped living together? That's when the breakup took place?
Yes, around that time, yes, ma'am.
Okay, and then shortly after the breakup, that's when the issue started.
Yep.
But your testimony is that he has not ever actually put his hands on you.
No, it's the threats. It's threats and harassment. No, he hasn't touched me.
And you stated the threats were what again?
He was gonna pull me down by my hair down the stairs. He said that the day the cops got called. He was holding my daughter when he said that.
Okay, no further questions for this witness. I'll pass the witness.
Mr. Williams, do you have any further questions for Ms. Murphy?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
If you feel I'm so much of a risk to my own child, why would you leave me before we had our child with your kids?
You didn't start doing that until after you left. That's when the other side came out. You barely even want to watch my other kids at that.
You have another question, Mr. Williams?
No, sir.
All right, Ms. Turner, you spoke about a modified visitation that Mr. Williams had agreed to. What exactly was that?
The modified possession and access schedule until the child turned 3 years of age. And of course, the modified possession and access would go through all 4 stages of the modified schedule, which is the first phase, the 4 hours of supervised visitation on every first, third, and fifth Saturday. And then at the conclusion of that stage, the second stage would be 4 hours of unsupervised visitation every first, third, and fifth Saturday.
Well, the regular run-of-the-mill modification.
Yes, the regular
correct.
run-of-the-mill. Yes.
And who was going to be the supervisor?
Your Honor, we don't have a person that I know of. I wasn't informed of any absent parties.
I'm sorry, you're breaking up. Can you say that again?
I said I was not informed of anyone who was proposed to do the supervision. According to Ms. Murphy's testimony, she has safety concerns, so maybe perhaps there is a mutual person that could supervise that visitation.
Well, you might want to ask them that question. I can't make a
Ms.
decision
Murphy,
without knowing someone.
Okay. Ms. Murphy, is there a mutual party that could supervise the visitation?
Yes.
The name, and is this someone Mr. Williams is acquainted with?
No.
Okay, so mutual means somebody that you both can agree to. Is there a person that neither one of you have issues with that could supervise the visitation, like a grandparent that gets along with both?
No, I don't have a mutual that will get along with him. No, I don't.
Mr. Williams, is there a grandparent available that could supervise?
Yes, ma'am.
And who is that grandparent? Is it your mother or father, or her mom's mother or father? Murphy's mother
It's
or
my
father?
mother. It's my mother.
Ms. Murphy, do you have any concerns with his mother doing the supervised visitation?
She doesn't stay in Harris County.
Where does she live?
In
What county?
Towards Dallas.
She stays in Arlington.
That's not Harris
Okay.
County.
Okay, it would have to be a party in Harris County. So
Okay.
Murphy, is your mother available?
No, ma'am, she works.
Your Honor, perhaps maybe then the supervised portion could take place. I don't know. Is there a grandfather available?
Nope.
I have my grandmother.
What's your grandmother's name? Does she live in Harris County?
Yes, ma'am. She stays in Harris County.
Okay, what about your grandmother? What's her name?
Her name is Rena Simon.
Rena Simon.
Yes, ma'am.
Mom, would you be agreeable to that, Ms. Murphy?
No, ma'am.
Okay, so Ms. Murphy, you're not agreeable to anybody supervising. I'm going to make you the supervisors then. Is that all right?
Yeah, that's fine.
All right. All right, the court's going to appoint the mother and father as joint managing conservators with the mother as primary conservator. Non-disclosure is denied. Fathers to have modified possession and access until the child reaches 3 years of age, with the mother supervising during the first stage. All other stipulations are approved.
Thank you, Your Honor. May we be excused?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.